disturb and to turn this. So just a moment, 'cause I don't want this. Okay, what it is, you guys? It is your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the drama like prison wife. I'm legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all fades to black. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, I'm coming through later on today, which is March the 20th, 2025. Yes. So March is almost out the door, girl. You see how when the year gets started, it's already over, and we almost to my birthday, girl. Okay, so I messed up the order. I'm trying to tell this big long story in pieces, and as basically as I've been riding around town with my daughter doing errands, trying to catch myself back up because I had been in the hospital for 4 days, and then I had to quickly jump into a whole new lifestyle. Like the doctor said, this changes everything. When he looked like he was going to do this to his desk, it was like, what? You're diabetic? This is good. This changes everything now. So it does. So I had to jump right into a whole new life, like just like that, upon being released from the hospital, because I couldn't tarry like I usually would, because now my health is on the line. So I had to figure things out quick, fast, in a hurry, right? Okay, so back to so I think I got off track. This is actually part five. I said this was part five in the last part, but this is part five, right? And I said I was gonna follow it with part six. So here we go. So I did miss a couple of things because I am trying to tell this story off the top of my head, and y'all know I don't do good with that because Cadillac get off track. Yes, and I do way too many details, but I need you to know the full story. I like to tell all the supporting details. You know, I'm a legal eagle, and every single intricate thing matters. So one thing that I left out is that so this is the part five of surviving ketoacidosis. And one thing that I left out is when I went to Chicago, initially it started with me getting severely dehydrated in Chicago. I am a Floridian, yes. And I'm out there willy nilly all up in that snow and stuff, and that dry air that I heard dehydrates me. And now I know further talking about this, a lot of people don't even know that you can get dehydrated in cold weather, including a lot of my family members that live in Chicago. As I mentioned this, they didn't realize that they get dehydrated. But I did have a loved one tell me, you know what? When I do go and shovel um, my front, the little thing to get my car out, and I come in and take off my jacket, I do be sweating a lot. That's you're losing your you're losing your hydration, and then it's evaporating quickly because of the weather. So you're not realizing that you're. It's almost like, have you ever wore those workout suits, those garbage bag suits? Back in the day when I thought I was gonna be the next female rapper, I used to run a little track with that. But if you notice, if you had it on too long, you start to feel faint. Similar concept, right? So you can easily get dehydrated and not even know you're getting dehydrated in cold weather. And that is what I did not know. I was warned about frostbite. Not that I wanted that instead, but I was not warned about dehydration. So I came back to Florida dehydrated. And one of the symptoms, which is crazy, my we went to Willis Tower. Um, what I realized was that we were trying to do touristy stuff, and my family's like, we don't go to downtown Chicago like that. We ain't finna go. We wanted to get out. You know, me and my daughter are explorers. We're vloggers. We want to see. We want to do. We done already researched on TikTok this, and that, and what it is to do in Chicago and stuff like that. Because this was our first time really finna get around the town because we had enough time to do what we wanted to. So when we came back from Willis Tower, it was cooler outside and it was a thick fog. I don't know. The whole country was experiencing this thick fog. Now, y'all know the little conspiracies and such or whatever. But I did see that thick fog. And that is the reason why when we went to the Willis Tower, you couldn't see nothing. When you get off on that ledge to see the city, look like you're just standing over everything. The fog was so thick, there was zero visibility. We got out, it was cooler than when we went in. Okay, so my aunt was like, we can't really drive all the way back down there. It's rush hour and stuff like that. So if y'all could get out of the downtown area, we could just come scoop y'all up. So my aunt, she's like, y'all could ride the train or you could ride the bus. Now, the thing is, you don't want to alert that, hey, I'm not really here from Chicago. You don't want to put that sign on you. It's like putting a little target on yourself. So, we definitely, the thing was, I am caregiver to my sister. My sister's epileptic. So we were nervous about the train because I'm like, if she has a seizure on the train, we don't want anybody trying to, get us because we're vulnerable at that moment, right? So then my aunt was like, maybe the best bet is just get on the bus, get on the city bus. And so we rode. I think that one is CTA. So we rode that from downtown, and I started to recognize some of these streets. We passed. I know my aunt lives out on one side. I started to hear names that correlate with her area. Then I remember my grandmama living on the west side. We passed Pulaski and all that. Then we sit. So this is quite a lengthy bus ride from downtown Willis Tower to get to where we could be picked up or whatever. So we start to hear all the names start with Kill. Kildare, Kilpatrick, kill this, kill that. Now, me and Money, we are like, I gotta do a whole nother story time. That's kind of funny, but it's not. It's funny, but it's not. But God protected us then too, because the bus driver, he kind of knew, that okay, I guess we stuck out. I don't know. We had to stuck out, girl. And so my daughter's like, dang, every single street name starts with kill. Kill this, kill that. Is they finna us? So we riding the bus, but we still trying to act, natural, whatever. Like, yeah, we. So we get off. My aunt was like, get off at the last stop. The bus ain't gonna go no further. This is where you get off. So as I get up to get off the bus, when I got off the bus, I was able to get off the bus, but when I stood at the bus stop, a shooting pain. I had never in my life felt this pain before. Shot through my shin area on my right, all the way to my foot, and it felt like it was bending my foot. I'm like, what the? So I started saying, My aunt is on the phone and she's trying to tell us to y'all just wait there and I'm gonna come pick y'all up or whatever. And I'm like, and they're like, why is Keita not crying? Why is she hollering? She can't be hollering like that. Do y'all know where y'all at? Do y'all know where y'all at? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know what this pain is. I've never felt this. And every time I would try to step down on my foot, like the slightest, I was and they're like, girl, you gotta be quiet. Then my daughter was like, this crazy man across the street, he said something back, right? But she was like, is he talking to you? He was like, you better be quiet before some. But we didn't know if he was talking to me or talking to somebody else. We wasn't trying to figure that out. I'm like, just what is this shooting freaking goddamn pain through my foot? Okay, so my aunt scoops us up, and then that's when she takes us, oh, money had to go to the Dollar Tree, $1.25 tree. So I'm up in the $1.25 tree, ripping and running through there, trying to find a restroom. Unfortunately, our restroom is, well, washroom. They call it washroom in Chicago. Our washroom is locked. It's out of order right now. So I'm like, oh my God, because the other issue that I was having was the peeing, like having to pee frequently. So I just used it at the Willis Tower. Um, so the time of the whole bus ride, so we had to get out of there. We ate something inside the Willis Tower, and then we stopped by McDonald's so that, what did we stop there for? Because I think she said wait there till they tell us like what to ride the bus or the train or whatever. So then my daughter and my sister, we all sat down and actually ate because the place we ate there. Oh no, I just grabbed the drink because I told you I didn't want to just eat. So I was just drinking, drinking, drinking. So I grabbed a drink inside Willis Tower, and then everybody had decided we was gonna eat at the McDonald's. So that I used the bathroom at the McDonald's, and then the whole bus ride. So that was about a 30 something minute bus ride. So I had to pee, like I had to pee, and it wasn't even that long. So I noticed that I had to pee more frequently, but I thought it was because I'm drinking a lot. The more you drink, the more you pee. Hold on one second. So I'm literally thinking, not thinking that that's any symptom, because I'm like, I am drinking more, but I know it's because I'm dehydrated. So of course I'm going to drink more, which of course I'm going to pee more. So I'm not thinking that is a horrible thing or whatever. So my daughter wanted to stop at the Dollar Tree, and they said their bathroom was closed up. So once my daughter went in, my aunt went in. My other aunt's like, oh my gosh, you let her go in that store. We finna be sitting here in this parking lot for a minute. And I'm like, oh my God. And it felt like you ain't peed in a million trillion years. It's not a light pee. It ain't no pee you can hold. It ain't none of that. So I jump out the car and I run across the street. I get across the street, I seen a Portillo's, and I'm like, but what if they don't let me in? So I'm like, across the street was a Walmart and a Portillo's. So I'm like, if I go to the Portillo's and I can't get in and it's just a drive-through, I'm going to have to foot it across this parking lot in Walmart. So I just headed straight to the Walmart because I'm like, I know Walmart got a bathroom. Went in Walmart, used the bathroom. I bought me one of those. I used to like those fizzy waters is what I call them, but I don't seltzer waters, but they got the flavor. They're supposed to be like sugar free. I would love those. So I got one of those. I took a few sips. And then by that time, my aunt had came across the street and she was at the Walmart. So she's like, oh, Keita, how you walk around with me, because she was shopping or whatever. She was going to make our last little things we requested. And then she's the cake lady, so she had some orders and stuff. So she was walk around and shop with me. So I kept losing her because I didn't want nobody to call attention to me peeing so much, because she did know I did have to pee, is why I jumped out the car and ran across the street. But I had peed and then I had to pee again. That's why I kept losing her in the store, because I didn't want her to say, hey, why are you peeing so much like that? That's crazy. Because you just don't want to hear the inevitable or whatever. So I guess I was trying to hide it or whatever, which now seems silly or whatever. So when we finally get out the Walmart, I might have peed 3 times while I was in the Walmart. And the only consumption was really that fizzy water, but I hadn't drunk the whole thing. So then they was like, oh, we got to make a stop by another cousin house. And I'm like, I gotta pee again. I can't even wait no more. But I don't want to, can I use your bathroom? Because they're going to say, didn't you just pee at Walmart? So check on your people. Your people steady going to that bathroom like that. Ask some questions. Be concerned. Because If they're like me, they're trying to hide it, right? Okay, so we finally get home, and of course, then I pee again. But upon driving home, my aunt is like, you know what? What was that with your leg? You up there hollering over there on the, you know you're on the west side of Chicago. Why is you hollering like that? And I was like, I ain't never in my life felt that type of pain. Something just shot through my foot. And my aunt was like, she said the key word. She was like, you know what, when we get home, I need to check your sugar. That's what she said. But when we got home, sidetrack, we had picked up food, but still, like I said, I had no appetite, so I was barely eating. And we never got around to it. Had she checked my sugar that day, most likely, and this was in December, possibly we would have had some clues as to what was happening at that point. Because this is when I was full-fledged feeling these symptoms. But it got worse once I got on that plane to go home. Oh my gosh, it was like, it was a pain up under my side. I could drink this much and I could pee like almost a gallon of water out for this much. Okay, so that's one thing that I skipped. And then another thing that I skipped is when I told you I got I went to two different doctors. So I got a first opinion basically and got a second opinion. And both of them, upon finding out that my A1C was 14, which is off the chart, so we don't know what your A1C is. And then my sugar intake was high, which I found out the difference basically then. Because I kept saying, hold on, I didn't fast for this test, and you're supposed to fast for it. Would that affect my results? And they kept saying, no, not much. So I'm like, for me, I'm a overthinker, and if you tell me something that don't make sense, I'm gonna ask you this over and over and over and over until I get an answer from you that makes some type of sense. Why would they have you fast for these tests if it didn't make that much of a difference? And then why in the second breath you tell me you get the most accurate results when you fast for the test? I fasted for the first one, they say they lost, but I did not fast for the second one. So so I wanted to know the difference between the two. That is where my question kept lying, and my unanswered questions kept lying. What would be the difference? This could be blown out of proportion, right? That's what I kept asking. And then what about the dehydration? Okay, those were the answers not really getting, the questions not getting answered. Okay, so I end up going to both doctors, and upon leaving, both of them were saying, and this was by the time I spoke to these doctors, this was like last week or the week before. So we just entered March. Those symptoms of what I'm telling you about, when I couldn't hardly make it to the bathroom and this and that, that was mid-December. So mid-December to mid-January, mid-January to mid-February. So we're 2.5 months later is when I got these results. 2.5 months later. And both of them was like, Ms. Dixon, you are at a very high risk of heart attack and stroke. I'm like, huh? How could I get to that point? And they was like, yes, you need somebody to watch over you to make sure that they don't go back there and they find you, like go up in the room and find you in a diabetic coma. And I'm like, huh? Like literally, hold on. I'm sorry to get that intimate with your guys. I'm like, huh? What are you? So it's not making sense to me how I went from here to what? So that as well was alarming. The first doctor did not explain as well, But I asked them questions, keep asking all them questions, all them questions. Remember that guy that used to, why you asking all them questions or whatever, something like that. You got to ask questions. Already I have this iffy thing because I always felt like the more questions I would have asked, I felt like my mother could have been saved. My mother passed after an outpatient surgery due to negligence, right? So I'm thinking the more questions, if my question unanswered, I'm going to ask you some more rounds of questions. And I'm sure you're going to get aggravated because I put aggravated and irritated all together and combine and make my own word. You're going to get aggravated with me. But I needs to know. Because I feel like if I ask more questions, my mother might still be here. You know, though I had to make peace with that, and you know, that's God's bigger plan, but still, you know, it's still, as a human, being honest and transparent with you, that's gonna bother you, right? And I felt like it was something I could have done had I asked the right question or kept, you know, pulling at them. Okay, so I was like, how does that fasting not affect it any? And she's like, it most likely not going to affect that A1C because the A1C goes back over 3 months of your how high your sugar has been, and it gives you that range. And 3 months back, which is bad for me, was the moment I got dehydrated. So it doesn't show any of the results prior to being dehydrated, how my body, what was my A1C then. We already know in June my A1C was 6.5. So how between June and now February, when I retook it, end of February, how did it jump so high? Which I really think we can narrow it down further to December to February. Oh, okay. Let me answer this, guys, and we'll be back with a part 6. I'm sorry. It's your girl Cadillac.